meeting to order. Would you do roll call for us?
Sure. Commissioner Williams here, Commissioner Jarvie
Here.
Commissioner Mishra, present. Chair Martin
Here.
Commissioner Bottenberg, and also Commissioner Rahman sent his apologies, Commissioner Hefner is not here at the moment, but he should be.
It should be okay, great. Okay, and we have a flag for our Pledge of Allegiance. Then. I pledge
Allegiance to the
to
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish that were true. I wish that were true. You'll have a chance to look at the agenda. I have a motion to approve. I'll make the motions. Thank you, Dave. I'll second it. And minutes of last month. You've had a chance to look those over.
Take a vote for the agenda.
Yes, we did.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, do we separate the discussion?
I seconded and
We didn't just second. Motion. Okay, do we need to discuss the agenda?
I think anybody has anything.
Okay. Motion discussion. Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes of last month?
I approve.
So the minutes are approved. Do we need to discuss the minutes? Yeah. Now, do we have a vote to approve the minutes?
I think we'll all say aye.
Okay, aye. Okay. Is there any public comment for us tonight? Anyone voting us that we know of?
Online, I think we are have no public comment tonight.
Okay, so then for our new business tonight is our discussion with the nonprofits, and we're starting with the Eastside Friends of Seniors. All right, so tell us about yourself and about the work that you do.
So my name is Amy Schofield. I have the joy of serving as the engagement coordinator for Eastside Friends of Seniors. We are based in Sammamish, and we service the older adults in Sammamish, Issaquah, and the Snoqualmie Valley. Many of those that we serve, they've lived here for decades and they have raised families here. They've formed friendships here, and they just want to age in place. And so our organization began in the late 1990s. It was a faith-based grassroots movement called Faith in Action. And I had one simple goal, and that was to help people age in place. The volunteers had noticed neighbors struggling to stay independent. Sometimes they were isolated. Sometimes they had health challenges, and they wanted to provide meaningful help. So then in 2008, we became a 501c3, and that was formalizing our commitment to the community. And so our mission is straightforward and it's powerful. It's to, we partner with the community to help older adults safely age in their home. So we have fantastic volunteers who service these members. And it could be things from giving them a ride to a medical appointment, to the grocery store, to one of our social events. They provide home chores, laundry, yard work, handyman fixes, tech services. I always joke that's what our young people are really good for, is the tech services. And then we do companionship, just friendly visiting, friendly phone calls, just to keep people from being so isolated. So we, just to kind of give you some numbers, about 2/3 of our members, we have about 256 when I looked today, just to get a number, 256 members. 2/3 of them are low or very low income. Most are women. 9 out of 10 of them live alone. And then majority of them have a disability. Our average age is 81 years old. And the big group of ours is 85 to 95 years old. And most of them own their home and they want to stay in that home. So that's what we provide services so they can stay independent and in that home. But being independent, you know, being able to take care of their yard and their home is one thing. Getting them to doctor's appointments is one thing. But that social isolation is a big, big key. And so we have a lot of volunteers who check in on them regularly, play cards with them, have coffee, go for walks. And so we just received a 3-year grant from the VSHSL, which is through they call it Senior Neighborhood. Yes. I have it. But our whole goal was to expand our services and to focus more on social engagements and activities for these seniors to come out into the community and not just be in their home. So we started providing a safe, welcoming space for them to come and have, you know, lunches together, art and craft events, bingo, music, things like that. And so the volunteer is able to bring them to these activities. They have that with the group, with the community, and it gives them a little bit more of being invested in that community. We're also able to expand our services to the Snoqualmie Valley, which has been a really big deal because there are a lot of people who need our services. And that number is not going down. It's definitely growing, right? So we're looking at moving ahead, expanding, growing our services that we provide them. It's very personalized, what we do for them. Not one person's not the same as the next. I do a lot of in-home visits to kind of see what they need, what the services we're able to provide to see if they qualify for us, because being volunteer, we can't do some of the stuff like, you know, a home health care person could do. And so that's kind of our grandeur of it. I was going to give you, are you interested in an example of some of our members? Okay, so one of our members, I had his story from a previous event that we had, and it's a beautiful story. He kind of grew up isolated and alone in Seattle. He kind of had some health issues, and at an early age, he hurt his ankle, ended up having to have it removed. And so he had a surgery where they removed knee below. And he was by himself. He didn't have any family nearby, any kind of support system. And so very depressed. And so he started using us for transportation. And he got very connected with one volunteer in particular. And so they created this bond. And so during this whole year, he ended up having multiple surgeries, and they ended up going above the knee a couple times. And he thought he was going to get a prosthetic, and it didn't fit because they kept having to do more surgeries. And so then he ended up needing some help with home services. And so a couple went out and they started doing home services for him. And it became a friendship. So now he's got a driver who is such a close friend. He's been driving him for 3 years. And he's got this couple that go over there and they do home services, but it's so much more than home services. And so I went and talked to him the other day. He was talking to me about the fact that he couldn't believe that people just came and did this kind of stuff, not because they had to, because they wanted to. They wanted to be with him. And he was just so shocked to have that in his life. And that's what I get from a lot of our members, is that they can't believe that people want to be with them or donate their time. Like, they don't understand why they're doing it and not getting paid. And so that's kind of at the heart of our core of our mission, is that we don't do it, bless you. We don't do it because we have to, but we want to. And it's neighbors helping neighbors. So that's our core of our mission, is just kind of being there for our neighbors and supporting that community.
You said 256 members, so the members are the people you serve.
Yeah,
So
so
volunteers are.
so volunteers, we have about, because I'm on the member side, I think we have about 230 volunteers right now, give or take. And I don't know how many of those are like the fully active. You always have the ones that are active all the time, and then the ones that you have to reach out to see if they remember that they were volunteers. But they're fantastic. Yeah, so, and when I came on, they were called clients, and I don't like the name clients. I think you feel like you're part of a club, right? So now we're like members as being part of a club, so. Any other questions?
Well, how often are these visits? Are they weekly or?
So the visits really depend on what the member need is. So we try to keep them from consuming all of our volunteer time, because some members could use us every day, right? When it comes to rides, they usually, a lot of them are like weekly or bi-weekly when it's doctor's appointments. We do matches if they want to go to the grocery store every week. And when I say matches, is that we want to connect them with one person. That way they don't just have that continuing person, but they have that relationship they're able to build with that person. And so a lot of them do grocery stores every week, maybe every Friday they go to QFC or whatever that is, or they have their hair appointment, once a month, and that's a match. When it comes to home chores, we try to do every 2 weeks. Again, some of them could use us every week. We try not to wear our volunteers out at the same time. Handyman services are usually kind of as needed. We just get messages or calls from them when they need something. Tech services is the same thing. Yard service is kind of the same thing, which is just when they need it. But we stay pretty busy with the rides. That's probably our biggest need. We probably have about 80 rides a week. And we're like at a 95, 98% fill. We do prioritize doctor's visits. And then we have lots of people out there just doing companionship. That's actually one of our next big ones, is just that companionship and a lot of members don't even know that that's what they want when I go to see them. That I go to visit, do their home visit, initial visit, and they just want that ride. And then when I talk about what we do, they're like, you have someone that just comes out and talks to me. And so it's nice to have that. And then they have that friendship and they play cards together. Another really beautiful story that we have is a member had called wanting us to help with his wife, and she has dementia, and he's the sole caretaker. And dementia is actually one of ours that's kind of out of our scope, because we just can't really help past a certain point with that. But I went out to go visit. I specialize in dementia personally, so I went out to go visit her and see, and we really couldn't do much for her per se. But when I was out there talking to him, he is the one that really could use our support, because he is living this day to day with her, and it's emotionally very heavy, and he doesn't have anybody else. And so for us to be able to provide a companionship for him, he has someone who comes down every Friday to have coffee with him and talk music, which is what his passion is. And to be able to provide that for somebody who didn't even know they needed that, it was kind of a really of a pleasure, a real high point for me. So.
How do you advertise to find your volunteers and your members?
For members, we have not previously advertised. I have just started advertising, and it's not hard to get that. It's usually word of mouth. Also East Side Fire and Rescue, they refer a lot to us. The food banks refer a lot of people to us. Doctors' offices usually refer us if they know that it's somebody that fits with us. For volunteers, again, that has been mostly people searching the internet for volunteer opportunities. I just recently submitted an article to the Sammamish Neighbor, I believe is what it's called. That will be published in the next month or two to try to send some more volunteers. We did table at events this summer, the farmers markets and international days and things like that, to try to just kind of let people know we're there, because unfortunately the growth of members goes a lot faster than the volunteers. So there's a lot of people that we can serve and that we want to serve, and we just want to make sure we have the people to do that.
Outside of my volunteering here on the Human Service Commission, I volunteered with a group that supports volunteering, right? And one of these internet sites that you're talking about, and Eastside Friends of Seniors, is partnered with that site, and it's been fun for me to watch people volunteering with your organization.
What's that?
It's called justserve.org.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to ask, because, well, about a month or two ago, I was part of a group that presented an award to the city of Redmond for the city of Redmond mayor issued a proclamation for Martin Luther King Day, saying the city of Redmond recognizes volunteering in the community and encourages their citizens.
Mhm.
And I would love, this is revealing a little bit about some of my, personal projects that I would love to see in Sammamish. I would love to see the city of Sammamish also endorse volunteering in our community, because it's something that, as a software engineer, I sit at a desk doing ones and zeros, but it's very healthy for me to go out and volunteer and talk with an older person who could use some help raking some leaves or something. And after COVID, right, we all experienced how deep that isolation can hit when it's us. And I think we have maybe a little more empathy for the seniors. But I'm curious, what kind of things, this is all hypothetical, right? But what kind of things would an organization like yours benefit from the city getting behind in terms of
Encouraging volunteers?
volunteerism?
Well, hopefully the volunteers that we would benefit from. Right now, honestly, our largest portion of volunteers comes from Sammamish, which is great. And I think it's just kind of, we've been here so long, maybe that's why. But then again, when I meet my members, most of them are, when we're at farmers markets, no one's heard of us. And which is shocking to me, when they were like, we've never heard of Friends of Seniors. And the fact that everything that we do is free of service to, the community. And so I think any word, any kind of support we could get from Sammamish, if it's volunteering, if it's just, letting people know that we are here for that. Because we do want to help people stay in their homes. And obviously this is a very expensive community, just like everywhere in East Side. And it gets harder for them to stay in their homes, and it's hard for them to leave their homes. So we just want to make all of that accessible and possible to them.
There's a page on the city website, but it needs to be promoted in the city newsletter that everybody receives.
Yeah.
And that would be really helpful. You could also speak to the partnerships you've had, such as with the Sammamish Seniors and the Chamber of Commerce, the block party, the activities there, the aging fair that we held.
Oh yeah, the aging fair we just had, that was our second year, and that was amazing, amazing event. So we're hoping that can kind of be a different communities as well, but that was a really great event for, I think, all of us that were attending, and then the people that came to visit it as well. So
One thing that I'm just also with that introduced me to Eastside Friends of Seniors, and I think would be, I hope that it will continue this way, but the day of service that has happened on an annual basis in Sammamish, organized by
Lutheran Church.
Yes, that's
Lutheran
right.
Church, and then a coalition of partners that they've been growing and building. But that was a really special opportunity. I co-captained one of the East Side Friends of Seniors projects.
nice, okay.
And what was great about it is it brought in a lot of new people, put them in a volunteering, even if it was just for one day, but then they understood what it did. I don't know if it resulted in long-term committed volunteers, but I respected the process that your group had for making sure people understand what they're doing when they're interacting with seniors and signing forms and going through that process, which it set that organization apart from others that I've seen.
I think that's one thing with East Side Friends of Seniors, is that people, I think in general, people think of volunteering, it feels very task oriented. And ours is very people oriented. It really is. You really get from both sides. The volunteer gets as much as the member gets, I believe. So
Another example would be the transportation there. My father for a number of years was using Access to be able to get to places. And of course, that's a plus or minus 45 minutes for pickup or delivery and all like that. And he was just left stranded at Overlake without any way of getting back to Issaquah. And he was able to connect with Eastside Friends of Seniors and get that sort of like quarterly ride to his cardiology. And it made a huge difference rather than standing out waiting for Access that didn't come.
okay.
Or it was an hour and a half and it still hadn't come.
Oh yeah.
So you're largely volunteer, organization. Do you have any paid staff, budget? What does it?
We do. There's 5 of us. I'm one of them. So we do our overhead cost is probably a lot less than in most nonprofits because we do kind of work in the field most of our job. We do have office space over at Sammamish Hills Lutheran Church, and they are so gracious and let us use their space for a lot of our events and lunches and stuff, which is wonderful. It's safe, it's welcoming. But yeah, it's just the 5 of us and then the 230 volunteers and 260 members. So yeah.
The typical age range for volunteers.
Most of our volunteers are retirees. And I don't know if that's just because they have the time and they want to give back to their community. We do have some youngers, and I say younger, like in the, the 30s, 40s. They're a little bit more limited because they're working. We do get teens that come in there. I know that we ask for a commitment of at least 6 months when you come in, and that gets harder with teens because maybe they're looking just to fill some hours for school. But we do get those that are super special that can really relate and connect with the older community. And it becomes a beautiful relationship to see the intergenerational. So
When I signed up for the Rotary program, that's another one of those fix-it type activities, small jobs.
oh, the handyman type stuff. Mhm.
It was like, oh, you play cribbage. I got a lady who would love to play cribbage. It's like, oh no, here we go.
I was shamed because I didn't know how to play cribbage when I met with one. And he shamed me. Well, no, this is a gentleman, and he shamed me, and I was like, I am so sorry, I will learn. I've never played cribbage before. So,
Well, I'm interested in the handyman services. What kind of needs are usually, are they simple or are they?
I kind of tell people, if you think of things that you don't need any kind of a contract worker for, but some of our handymen are super skilled. And so I've gotten to where I don't put a black and white on it anymore. I usually, if I go to someone's house and they have issues, I'll take pictures and I'll send to our handyman. And some of them are like, yeah, I can do this. I can build a ramp for them. I can put in their safety bars in their restrooms, those kind of things. And part of me wouldn't even think about doing that because building a ramp, I feel like that's a little bit more intense. But then it could be like, the cabinets creaking or the refrigerator door fell off, or, then it gets simple to where they just need light bulbs changed, or the big one is the smoke detectors, if you can't change those. And so we're trying to get a little bit more proactive when the time changes for me to check in on people who would like them, so we can go ahead and send people out there. So because I did have one lady who was really upset because it was going off for a couple of days and she couldn't do anything about it. So we know how awful that can be. So yeah. And even some of our handymen go out and do like the holiday decorations for them because they can't do that anymore. So small things that you don't think of handyman stuff, and it becomes like, what do you need? And we just try to figure out who does that.
All the handymen are volunteers as well.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Handymen are volunteers as well.
They do what?
Are they volunteers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did you guys look out in the community for specific skills?
We
And then
don't.
seek them as volunteers, or it's just, they can be just people who are not handyman, but they can do those kind of things.
Yeah, and some of them are just handy people. Like I'm not a handy person, so like I don't even hang up my towel rack. Like I don't do anything. But there's some people that just have that skill, and so when they volunteer, they have that list to choose from of like what they would like to do, and handyman is one of those. And some of them are, people who maybe were in the construction field before, and that's usually the super handy ones. So it's a wide range of people who volunteer with us. One of the Rotary right now is a handyman in Fall City that we're trying to utilize in that area. So
I remember one of the questions from Lisa was several of our members can do plumbing and we do electricity, but that's something that really should be done commercially. But we can certainly go down and pick up the proper materials and do what we can without, taking away somebody's job in the real world.
Right. Well, we just had a lady that called in wanting someone to install her garbage disposal. And my first thing is I would hire somebody to do that. And we had a gentleman who was very handy about doing that. And he went right over there the next day and installed it for her. So you just never know who we already have in our back pockets that is skilled in that. You're right, though, when it comes to like a little more of the heavy plumbing, we do kind of, but then that's where we pop in and we have a resource list and a trusted resource list where we know the companies, know the people, and we're able to, comfortably reach out to them and say, this is what's going on, and they're connected with somebody else.
So I have a friend who's in her late 80s, in the Redmond Friendly Village. And so she's kind of my contact point because we're not a nonprofit organization, but we're on her. She calls us up when she needs some help, right? And we've given her rides and things like that. But in that, there's a couple things that like we haven't been able to help her with, but have been difficult for me to see her going through. And one of those, for example, was when her husband got dementia and he was managing her finances previously, but he wasn't doing it exceptionally well. But she then, anyway, there was that the switch over from her finances. So that was some interesting work that needed somebody who specialized in that. Luckily, she connected with somebody. But another thing was they were victims of like scam calls, which it seems like once they find somebody who will even talk to them, then it's rope-a-dope on all these other scammers who start calling. Their whole bank account got depleted at one point, and right now they're on Social Security and figuring out how to get the Social Security checks right, especially after he had dementia and was put into a special, right? Anyway, some of these things are like, I would like to help them with. I know these might also go out of the scope of what Eastside Friends of Seniors can help with. But if we had people in our community or people we know that have those, and let's say they weren't a member of Eastside Friends of Seniors, but are there resources or other partners that you work with?
Definitely, yeah.
What's the flow of somebody who a regular resident would see and want to help, but not know how to help?
So that is actually very common when the older community has issues. Like we just had a woman whose husband passed, and I'm assuming he took care of all the bills. And so she doesn't know how to even pay bills now at this point, and she's 92. And her thing was, my kids won't help me. And so we can't pay her bills for her. We can't even like have someone go sit and look at her computer with finances, but we have those people that we can connect her to. And that's one of the things we always keep a resource list for, a trusted resource list, and I have senior advocates at different places, senior centers that I can connect them to that can work that way. Or, with the insurance, with Medicare, I have a guy that, will freely talk to anybody about, Medicare, Medicaid, and work through stuff with them and help find money for them and stuff. So we definitely, even if they're not a member, if someone calls and has any questions like that, of something that's not either, it's out of our scope or that, they're not available to be a member, we can send them to someone who can help them. We never just say, sorry, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of her and all the other people that are, and people who care about them, you're doing a service not just to that person, but to their caregivers and their circle of support.
Yeah. It's definitely it takes a village, right? To help everybody. So.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about you, or how can we help you? What would you like from us?
Well, personally, Kristen would be kicking me. We are having our very first Thanksgiving dinner with our members next week, which is a big deal. So if anyone ever in the future wants to volunteer, our hardest thing right now is to get our members to a location. And so when we do have these events where I have 50 members coming to it and we have to drive them all. So yeah, the volunteering to help do anything would be wonderful in our future events, because I don't imagine those going away after we give them that one. So yeah.
I actually did have a question.
At any point, does anyone ever, like speak with King County Metro to be like, hey?
Just did. I just did. I sent an email last week because we were discussing this as using, we were like, I think someone could like, I think you can borrow their vans or rent their vans or something. So I had reached out via email with the contact and it came back and it was like, there's 2 ways you can do this. And she gave me 1 way.
No.
And then it was like, there was a link and I followed the link and it was to fill out to become a volunteer driver. And I was like, I felt like I was going in a circle. So I just need to have a little more time to like, just call them on the phone and be like, "Just talk with me a little bit because you gave me 1 way, even though you said there's 2 ways. So yeah, that is kind of something we've looked at. We've even looked at like like would it help if we had a van for East Side and like what that expense looks like and how that would work. Cause yes, I would love right now, we're begging volunteers to pick up 3 people. But when you have 50, I mean, that's still a lot of people trying to bring people to an event. So.
You can add a mechanic checkbox to your volunteer application.
I know one of our volunteers drives a school bus and we're like, can you get the school bus? Wouldn't that be awesome? Just book the bus and bring them all. So yeah.
Chair, can I just also add that on the city website, there is a volunteering section, and for Eastside Friends of Seniors, we have volunteer driver opportunities. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's on the website.
Wonderful.
Any other questions?
Well, thank you so much for letting me speak here tonight.
And can I check? Can I just quickly say, Kristen from Eastside Friends of Seniors, the executive director, was meant to attend, and that's her name on the minutes. And at 6 a.m, she was like, "I've got a really bad cold," and so you very kindly stepped in. And, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Yes. Well, thank you for what y'all do, and it's wonderful.
Thank you for what you all do.
And I'm gonna give it to you now over there, right?
Oh,
All right. Have a wonderful evening.
Good night.
no, thank you so much. No, I just wanted everyone to acknowledge that Haley stepped in last
Oh.
minute, and then for the next lot, yes, we'll everybody.
Do I come here now?
Snack? You need a snack?
Miss the charcuterie.
Yeah, listen, come on, I'm gonna justify it's excellent. Oh.
All right, well, thank you for coming.
Thank
And yes, tell us about yourself and what your organization does and.
Sure. So my name is Nanda Tiwari, and I'm the Senior Services Coordinator for IACS, which is Indian American Community Services. And we have pop-up centers for senior programming in Redmond, Bellevue, Waterloo, Kent, and with the support of City of Sammamish, we've been running the senior program at the Beaver Lake Lodge. It'll be 3 years in March of next year. So we started, yes.
It's so long.
We started in March of 2023. The lodge is a wonderful place. It has a lot of character. The backdrop is beautiful. And the program has grown a lot. We are just facing a little bit of space issues, and it's more during the summer. It's back to normal right now, because in summer, I think we do have some visitors. The senior program, actually, I have a little presentation, if you want to play it, and then I would be happy to.
PowerPoint or the video?
Can we do it one after the other, because it is related.
It's not gonna make me cry again, is it?
I don't think. So should we do the PowerPoint? Does that work for you? Okay, so.
I'll be happy to answer any question.
It's the video.
No, this is the PowerPoint, yeah.
So the 50 to 55, it says average attendance. So is that, I guess, is that weekly, monthly?
So the program is thrice a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And the attendance is for every session, any given session on, that's the average. In summer, we are like about 65.
You meet at the Beaver Lake Lodge 3 times
Yes.
a week?
Yes.
How are they getting there to and from?
So a lot of the seniors use access transportation and many of them use Metroflex. And some of them who live very close during the summer when the weather is nice, they walk to the lodge and a few of them drive. So we have a good combination of, and some of them are dropped off by their family members.
How often do you hear folks say that they can't get there?
Once in a while, we do because access transportation, as you mentioned, at times they do cancel last minute, and sometimes the wait times are so much longer because they always give like a time window of like they'll be picked up between any time between 30 to 45 minutes. So sometimes the drivers don't show up and people are unable to attend.
And these are afternoon sessions, right?
No, this
10 to 2.
starts at 10 and yeah.
I've got a question on that. So as far as like, what does a general like average day look like? They come in, like, I know you have like
Yeah.
movement on those 3 days, like what's the?
So they come in around 10. Between 10 and 10:30, they can check in. There is a registration on Eventbrite. So we always have the list of registered seniors. And we also allow walk-ins if we are not too full. So they come in, we have tea and coffee and some cookies in the morning. So they come, they socialize, they have their tea and coffee. 10:30 to 11:30 is always the fitness class, which is Mondays is dance, Wednesdays is Tai Chi, Fridays is chair yoga. And 11:30 to 12:30 is the activity hour. So Mondays is like mixed activities, like one table would be playing board games, some of them would be playing cards, some of them do some coloring. There is a knitting group which has knitted so much, and they were at the aging resource fair, and they have knitted hats and scarves, and they have donated to the hospitals. And then they have lunch, 12:30 to 1:30 is the lunchtime. And usually we are there until 2. So sometimes the seniors hang out, they socialize, they chat with us. But sometimes most of them leave after lunch. And so that gives us time to wrap up and close the program. Yeah.
So most of the seniors come from Sammamish, or are they located elsewhere?
Mostly Sammamish. The program is because of the space issues. It is focused on Sammamish seniors. We do get some from Issaquah too, because down the road, like some of them come from Providence Point, and occasionally we have had some seniors from Redmond, but we try to focus on the Sammamish seniors. So Monday is that activity. Wednesdays is our art day. So we have a good group of artists and art volunteers, and they come up with a project every Wednesday, a simple project, and they bring all the supplies, or we provide them with supplies, and all the seniors participate in the art project. Like today, they did like little lanterns, and we did like a Thanksgiving project. And depending on if there is a holiday coming up, something relevant, and sometimes they just do some painting and draw something. And Fridays is our day of like once a month, one Friday, we have a registered nurse from Swedish. She comes and gives a talk on different topics. And we do get some other doctors and sometimes dentists and talks from AARP, on fraud and scam. We have Hope Link coming up next Friday with the transportation information. And whenever we don't get a dog, we play bingo, which is really loved by the seniors. So they look forward to bingo. So yeah, these are our activities throughout the week.
So do you have a similar program in other cities as well, or is it just
We
about?
do. Our Bellevue program started over 10 years ago, and we get anywhere from 100 to 150 people there at North Bellevue Community Center.
It's a huge one. I was there
Oh, yeah.
3 years ago and it was just fantastic.
Yes.
9 to 3 still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
a long
Long
program. We have 2 activity hours, one after lunch also, and they all stay until 3.
Because Beaver Lodge is limited in size, do you have to limit the number of people that can come?
In summer, we do, although we don't like to turn people away. Sometimes people just show up and we try to fit them in. And it's okay when they're sitting and doing the activities, but when there is the fitness class, that's when it gets very crowded. So a few times in summer, we've really insisted that only registered people show up. But most of the time, it balances out. Some of the registered people don't show up and some of the walk-in. So we are able to accommodate most of the time. But yeah, the space does restrict us in some ways too.
How many can you hold then? What is your maximum?
I think 60,
60?
55 is very comfortable, but we have had 60 and we've also had 65 people.
We call it space occupancy. It's sort of like a handout from the city as to how many you can really have in there. And I'm in the Tai Chi. I come in for Tai Chi and leave
Okay.
after Tai Chi. Most of the people there are there for the full, all the opportunities. And Tai Chi,
You have to,
French,
exactly.
you really can't have that many.
And same thing with chair yoga too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you overlapped, or is there any overlap happening with the senior pickleball and other events at the building 120?
That's that Saturday morning one that came with the King County Parks. grant.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, there isn't.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think so, but I just wanted, I was curious.
One at Building 120 is for ages 55 and over in the 3 zip codes of Sammamish. So you have to go prove that you're a Sammamish.
It really is tight.
74, 75, 29. And well, that's open, and the that money came in through Sammamish Seniors, which is a part of the nonprofit within Sammamish Friends. And it's open to everybody. And I happened upon the I went in there at the end of August to give some of the flyers about the anniversary coming up and Sarah Perry coming in from the county to speak. And it was like, oh, we're not using sign-in sheets anymore. We're just allowing people from the who are members of the Y. Well, this program is open to anybody 55 and over who lives in Sammamish.
Yeah,
And they had
That's
missed
interesting
a
that-
change in staffing to keep that straight, so we had to rework it a little bit.
Would you like us to move to the next slide?
Yeah, we have fresh lunch for them, different lunch on different days, and
It's a commercial kitchen.
yeah.
yeah, that kitchen is nice. That one and
This is what I was. Yeah, the knitting club did donate tons of.
Given that maybe because if they are living in Sammamish, most of these adults are from well-to-do families. Have you ever thought of putting a minimal fee to attend these classes?
We do have a suggested donation. We started with $3, but then it was just a challenge with the change. So we just recently did it $5. But it's, again, it is a suggested donations, and some of the seniors still don't pay, and it's totally fine. And some of them, want to pay. So, yeah.
So I see the issue is the space and storage. Do you have any remedy ideas to help with that? Like a new place or?
Parks and Rec have been very good about, things have really become more convenient now. Initially, there were issues because there is a storage space, but because Beaver Lake Lodge is also rented out during the weekends for other events. So, it was an open storage. So sometimes our stuff was missing and misplaced because I think people just assume, I don't think they intend to, but they assume that this is available for them. So some of our supplies, so we had that challenge. So they have Parks and Rec have given us like big Rubbermaid totes, which can be locked. So most of our special stuff, we do lock it there. But sometimes it's still a challenge because big pots and pans won't fit. And sometimes we see that they are moved or they are used. So, but it has gotten a lot better. This was initially an issue.
The tables are heavy.
The tables are heavy, but we do have some seniors who come in early because they want to help set up the tables. But otherwise, the staff does that in the morning and wraps up later in the afternoon.
We're both remembering when we were at the teen center
Yeah.
and the chairs and the tables were easy because what
Yes.
we had to do is put them back in the format that the
Yes.
Boys and Girls Club wished to have it.
Yeah.
But we still had to fill our cars with everything we brought in and go back and forth and back
Yeah.
and forth.
We still do some of the
A lot
stuff
of it,
in our
yeah.
cars, but yeah. And it has gotten better with even like if the tables are broken, we put a tag. We had a meeting and then they know that this table is broken. So they know that either they can replace or fix it. So things are getting better.
And I will just sort of say, like, this is the first instance of this type of partnership with the city and a nonprofit providing ongoing, programming like 3 times a week. And I will say between Parks and Rec and IACS, they've done such a good job of because before Beaver Lake was just a rental and it was a one-off rental. And so to have that constant rental, I think you've been able to smooth, both Parks and Rec and IACS have worked really well together to figure out a good cadence. So yeah.
Yeah, no. And sometimes we come on the day off and we have to play a video and something has gone wrong with the audio and video and we try to reach out. And most of the time someone comes up and they fix it. So yeah, we are very appreciative of that.
I really like that model and I hope that we can take any learnings we're getting with IACS to other nonprofits because sometimes with the cost of real estate in this area, what's hurting nonprofits from being able to provide services to us is they're homeless, like they have no place to do the thing that they want to do for free. And so when the city, we're talking about grant money, but when the city can also grant space.
Hear that much?
Thing.
A lot of interest in building 120. I'll just say that.
But was that Jake's question? Was it
Yeah.
about storage or was it
Well, it's
about?
space, like if you're growing so much and you can't expand, I mean, are you looking at other areas besides Beaver Lake? Like, are there other areas? Like, I'm not familiar with them.
We have nothing.
Like, it seems like you're on your head against the wall if you don't have anywhere to go and you're just
Yeah,
fighting against something that.
we were talking about CWU.
Oh, yeah. Of course, there is that city feasibility study is $300,000.
I don't know
Next
the
to my
exact
mind.
cost, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
getting kicked off right now.
And it has 3 parts to it as far as what can you do with the building? What can you do with this? What about the land around? What about this and that? And it's like a 1-year real study before the council will decide, can it be used as it is? Can it be open to rentals? Can it do this and that? Can it be shared space for that? Can we bring back the commercial kitchen? Can we have senior program that has more activities happening at the same time, similar to, let's say, Redmond and Issaquah? Can the boys and girls come in after school and have a youth program there, not in competition, but not the same as the middle schoolers that go to the teen center? Could this be a high school one? Can it be basketball at night? Can it be something for the repertory theater? Can we have performances there? And there's a lot to the building, and a floor plan was shared with the city council back in September that had the drone going through the various rooms to show what it looked like. Of course, all the tables and chairs were taken away by the Central Washington University when it vacated in June. So right now, it's a nice carpeted floored space that's not being utilized. And could it be?
I have two general questions. So the Boys and Girls Club and the Pine Lake Center, the Pine Lake Community Center, is that not something which is like under Parks and Recs or any other community which
Yeah.
can be?
Well, the community center is its own
Yeah.
business. It's not related to the
city.
city.
Yeah.
It says community center, right? So I got
Community
confused.
club.
And then we do have like Issaquah Community Center. We do have Bellevue Community Center. So like
Sammamish does not have.
Parts
Very
again,
more
the
senior
same
center.
Sammamish Community Center and just use
Well,
the-
remember, there's also Big Rock Park. And Big Rock Park South has multiple buildings that will be utilized somehow. But that's, years away. Things are going forward.
Why would the study take 1 year? Is that because a commission has to meet or because
The
the
city
private?
council,
Oh, okay, I see.
But when we learned about IACS at the Together Center, there were also activities happening there, I believe, that were open to Sammamish residents. But maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly.
There were yoga
Lots
classes.
of people.
We have our office in Together Center, the IACS office is there, and sometimes, and there are conference rooms, so sometimes if we have an event or, some other class or another meeting, so we can book the conference rooms and host it there.
And then you also don't, like I know with your programming in Redmond and Kirkland and Bellevue and everything else, you lots of Sammamish residents attend those as well.
Oh, yeah, it's open to all the Sammamish residents, some of them who drive themselves, and there are regulars who go to most of our programs,
Yeah.
like, so they are busy all 5 days, just like me, go to 5 different places.
Tuesday, it must be Bellevue, huh?
No, Tuesdays, 2 Tuesdays is Bothell, the other 2 Tuesdays is Kent.
Okay.
Bellevue is always
Okay,
Thursdays,
still is then. Good.
and Monday, Wednesday, Friday is here, so.
Itinerant worker, you're quite a service.
Didn't the council chambers work for some? I remember when I worked for Kitsap County, we would contract with a yoga instructor there for the employees. It was like through the wellness committee, so it's totally free. And it was free, so I attended, and it was always in the council chambers. It felt really strange to be doing yoga in the council chambers, but I mean, sometimes you have to get.
Appears to be turned to the setting that's needed for that night's meeting.
That's right, the chairs for chair yoga.
One thing since we last met, I started following the Facebook page. And if you get a chance to thank whoever keeps that up, because it's been really fun to follow the different activities that you have for youth as well, not just seniors. I think they just recently did a youth service project in Kirkland.
Yes, at McAuliffe Park, yeah. We have a big youth program.
IACS, it's 35 years old. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, over 30 years, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What's this showing, Nanda? Like,
So we did a survey, a feedback thing, and this was the data. These many people liked yoga and Tai Chi, strength, like meals. Most of the people like the meals.
I wish my charts at work looked more like.
My husband is
Yeah.
white hair.
Hey,
Was that him?
Mhm.
this artwork.
Yeah,
Nanda?
yeah. They are regulars. They actually attend the Bellevue and all 3 days in Sammamish. We can, it's a like less than 2 minute video, which kind of quickly gives a glimpse on. He's here again because he's such a regular. Oh.
Let's see, it was working earlier. Here we go.
The dance class. Art activity card.
But there's no money being exchanged.
It's this whole thing.
Board games, Scrabble. Knitting. And we did a outdoor picnic and with it was an intergenerational with a youth program kids, and they brought a lot of board games and stuff to play with the seniors. This is the health fair that we organize once a year.
Any other questions?
It's kind of a shame she didn't stay so that they could ask each other questions.
Oh, when I saw some of those older.
Sometimes when we have more than one guest, I learn more just listening to them conversate with each other about their program.
The Eastside Friends, I do talk to them. I do talk to Kristen and and she's been to Beaver Lake Lodge several times and they know about Eastside Friends of Seniors. I don't know if too many people use them.
You have to be a driver to connect it to it.
Exactly.
I know it started out to try that, but
Yeah. And
was
also
hard.
it's because they prioritize medical appointments and others. So people wanted to just get rides to the Beaver Lake Lodge and but I think they may have given some rides initially, but I think they've gotten very, very busy right
I
now.
agree.
Yeah.
They've also, Eastside Friends of Seniors has a couple of programs that they're offering right there at the Lutheran Church, where the individuals are brought in and they participate in something. It's kind of new now,
What's the turnout usually?
probably 20. They had to have drivers to get there. The monthly calendar for the activities at the Beaver Lake Lodge is also shared through the Sammamish Seniors newsletter. Some of you receive it, and the link to be able to get into Eventbrite to save your spot.
Yes.
The Amish Seniors newsletter. I'm gonna try to find that one. I try to track all these different things.
And we are at the farmer's market during summer. And
Two things, I guess. One thing that I really liked seeing was in the video how we had multicultural seniors playing together, Chinese and American looking and Indian, like all together. That really warmed my heart to see that happening.
it is very heartwarming, and sometimes not everybody speaks the same common language, but they are able to communicate. It's just really, really nice to see.
Another thing, I guess, more generationally that I liked was that outdoor activity where they were playing games and brought in some youth. And I know some youth organizations that would enjoy doing an activity like that during the summertime, maybe at the Lower Commons Park, or some of them are already doing those type of things, but then to be able to connect with
We
IACS.
have some youth volunteers. There was a teenager who was doing origami with the scene. He's like an expert in origami. He's won like international prizes. He's just so good. But he can only come in when it's off week. So he loves working with the seniors. So we put him on schedule during spring break, during summer, and everybody's like, "Oh, Neil is coming." They're so excited. So yeah, we do have such volunteers that interact with the seniors, and
It's open to all.
Yeah, that's really good for our community here in Sammamish.
But it could be in a bigger place.
I mean,
And, same theme. Are there any translators in place if the seniors do not know English?
we've not had that challenge. I think most of the seniors who attend, I think they do understand English. Obviously, all the instruction is in English. But even amongst the staff, if it's people from India, from different regions, I think amongst the staff, we do speak multiple languages. So language has not been an issue until now. So yeah.
Isn't that language also taught in all the schools in India?
English.
English?
Yeah, English,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Depends.
you
Not all
already,
generations have
Yeah.
learned English in
What?
school. Not all generations have learned English in school.
well, I think the ones that I have met at the lodge have all learned English.
Yeah, because there are so many regions in India and people speak different regional languages. So English becomes a common language of communication even within India.
And sometimes they know how to read, but they don't know how to speak it fluently. They might even understand another Indian speaking English, but not an American speaking English because of the different accents.
Same with Alabama.
So perceiving that information might become difficult, even though they are like, okay, I have studied English and I can read English and I understand English, but I can't understand you. So,
Yeah.
Hey, there's a different accent between Boston and Seattle. I know.
Oh, yeah.
Commons,
Yeah, yeah, true.
Well, I mean, just watching the video, you can obviously understand that space is a real challenge with those people, or with the people that were exercising and stuff. I mean, I think that's something that can get identified and find a bigger space. I think the program could really grow.
Flemish Community Center.
Yeah, something, that could,
I don't have any place in my mind.
I know, I just.
I would
just
love to.
Identifying that issue and then working from there on and
Yeah.
finding and identifying a space where you could have 100 people or
Yeah.
75 even.
How about public comment at a council meeting?
Yeah.
You get 3 minutes and
Mhm.
And transportation, I mean, just identifying those two issues and seeing a program like that that's thriving and helping so many people and people that are regularly attending is something that should be able to grow into something bigger in the community.
One thing that I have observed in Sammamish, it peaked probably during COVID, but it's still very active in my neighborhood, or even in the in this fall weather that we're having. It's been sunny, but there's a lot of the investment that was made in the sidewalks. At first I thought, wow, we're putting so much money into these sidewalks, but that investment has paid off because I see a lot of seniors in my neighborhood and families using those sidewalks to walk, and it creates nice moments where we get to smile and talk to each other even across this language barrier that you're talking about, but there's that mutual respect, and it's been a nice thing, even though we might not have a building for that. But I don't know, that's something I hope that we continue to have in our city, is that walking culture.
As I said, a lot of the seniors walk to the program.
I see in my neighborhood, I see a lot of grandparents who are walking the younger children, which I think is a cultural thing in maybe in different cultures that where people are coming in and they're also helping support their grandparents to be living with them and then caring for the family together, which is kind of an aging in place dynamic that we were talking about earlier.
They're babysitters.
Yeah.
But
I know, I-
they're-
Take one, take two.
Which is originally what ADUs were for, but now they're.
oh, that's an interesting angle too. Yeah, because they used to call them
Mother-in-law.
mother-in-law.
Sweets, yeah.
All commodities.
Anyway, it's a phenomenal program and
Yeah.
it could be bigger because we could move into a building that's available right this moment. If it were available just this moment.
Yeah. Not to get too off course, but when you said we get 3 minutes at a council meeting, do you have suggestions for what a path would be moving forward? Are you talking about the CW?
You can talk about anything you want to in those 3 minutes.
I just mean like showing up and then,
You sign up. You're called
Right.
up in the order that you signed in and you can do it on Zoom.
yeah,
And you can speak your piece about, you know, how much you enjoy the sidewalks or what's happening. And you're concerned with that beautiful big building that can't be used and.
Or maybe
whatever the
identifying
topic.
other areas that could be used that are larger spaces, just familiar yourself and bring it to an attention.
You know, everyone that is available.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with a lot of space, that are,
There are
it's
two
community space. That
Two
can be
rooms
used.
available at the Y, but you can't have it every week. There's,
Yeah, they can be
you know,
regular.
rooms at the library you can have, but you can't have it every week.
And just-
They are bigger spaces than Beaver Lake.
Which
Are
one?
those rooms bigger than Beaver Lake? What Beaver Lake is offering? Very small.
When the teen center was just a after-school event, it was easy to have the senior program in the morning. As long as the kids weren't going to be there, it wasn't an early release date, it wasn't a vacation week.
Yeah.
There were a lot of exceptions when you couldn't meet.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for playing the video in the.
Do you want to your name tag, by the way?
he wants it as a souvenir.
Yeah. Autograph and put it on.
Thank you so much. My prize for the evening.
Give to Amy.
So we can't keep the name tag. This is-
But we met
Yeah.
Were you there when
For the
we?
dashboard of your car.
Yeah, and that get a center, yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
thought I recognized it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nanda.
Thank
Thank you.
So I was going through our grant application list and I didn't see either one of these groups as receiving.
Well, you didn't see Eastside Friends of
Eastside
Seniors.
Friends of Seniors.
Because are they funded through the other senior pot?
No, so it's always on the,
Why am I not seeing it?
There's IACS.
Under
Most places.
seniors or under?
Seniors. We have probably what, 4 or 5 programs?
I remember joining them last time.
there was a seniors program section.
Generations, map, and Old Friends Club.
They didn't submit an application.
Was that why?
They missed the
They
deadline.
missed the deadline.
You
And
were
that was,
the-
yes. I know, and I felt so dreadful and it was just, I
Yeah.
think it was the day, then she didn't submit to the monthly, and so, yeah, and they've traditionally always been funded.
What's
but-
that, does that mean they won't be getting funding next year?
So, yes, this year and next year, but applications are gonna be for next year for 27 and 28. So I'm assuming they'll apply them.
But we won't be looking at their application.
You will be,
hope
that's for
so.
27 and 28, because it's for 2 years, the applications. So last year, the commission allocated funding for 25 and then 26.
So we'll do 27.
Next year, you're gonna be doing 27 and 28.
Next year, I mean, it's kind of starting in the spring, the application period, and then it's summer where we.
Yeah. So we actually have dates, I believe it's March the 11th or 12th that the application's open. So, yeah.
Do we get homework and we go home?
Boy, do you get.
Yes.
Great fun.
And then you meet apart from these meetings as well.
Okay.
In smaller groups.
And that's next year, right, in March?
Yeah, so in March, and that's sort of staggered through, and like, you know, we're not just gonna throw you guys into it, like I'm working with my peers to get some training put together. And so I feel like this year is your year of learning, I'd like to say. And then next year, like, you're not gonna know but you'll be able to know like the areas and yeah. And so, you know, you're obviously privy to read all 65 applications or whatever we get, but we try and like pass them into like groups and then have subgroups that will deep dive into those applications, and then they will give recommendations to the larger group.
And I know we're losing a pillar here.
Icon, yes.
Getting out right before the homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Right, it's like,
The new commissioner that's coming in will have to just dive right into these applications.
yeah, and I think Soumya, did you?
You did it last year. How was that transition?
It was good. I mean, it's just you understand the pattern eventually. There's a template for the application, how they are supposed to submit the information. And then you eventually get into the groove of like understanding the template and then understanding patterns throughout different applications. And then Rita is here. She's our database. Just put the query.
Okay.
She'll give the results back.
And I will make sure that like whoever comes in, that we onboard that person really, really well. That's normally over a coffee at Met Market, because hey, why not? And so no, but we really try as staff to try and like, we understand that they're coming into and they're drinking from the fire hydrant, and we really try and onboard them as much as possible and make ourselves available. So yeah.
So the history of each organization as to have they been able to get to the numbers they promised last time.
Yeah.
All of those things come from Rita. So it's easier than like with that data, the history, and then the current information which you have on the application, then it's easier to make a decision as to how much grant do we want to allot to them in comparison to what they've asked for. I think most of the times we just go with like, hey, just hit the but again, it's a decision to make.
The hard part is when your number is about $300,000 more
Yeah.
than what the city budget is for it. Now you gotta pull it back.
But then like Mike comes into his own, because then he has that spreadsheet where like, and then the chair's like, okay, we're 300,000 over, and then what should we do? Should we take off everyone 5% or whatever? And then Mike's there doing this, and then like, you know, I still think when we get the number, we should have like confetti. Literally confetti. And yeah, it's a real, yeah.
The funding mechanism, I know like Bellevue has a different one than we do. I think we talked about that briefly.
Well,
and
every-
Ours is not
Pretty
changing.
similar.
Yeah, I think like everyone has different priority areas. And they all are essentially the same. They just may call them something different. And then Bellevue has just a lot more money that they're allocating to that. But yeah, but no, I think as staff, like we really understand that you're volunteers, and we understand that that's a lot. So we try and aid as much as possible, give you context, answer questions, like, you know, and we're always there at every step of the way. So yeah.
And we're divided into groups, like you don't, two of us will take on, say, seniors or mental health and wellness and.
Yeah, if you want basic needs, there'll be 3 of you. working.
Yeah, basic needs is the largest part.
Mental
Wasn't there like if there was a certain amount of people meeting, that there had to be some sort of rule, like we couldn't.
It's only 3 and below is fine. It's 4 is quorum. So yeah. So because if you have small subgroups, that's absolutely fine. We don't have to notice that.
Meeting more than 4 or more.
Yeah. And then we also do your washing and laundry. Did I tell you that? I'd like to help you.
I want the babysitting. That's all.
So since these groups have already come, if we come up with more questions when we're processing these applications,
Always ask me, and then I will always be the person, and that happens all the time.
Okay.
I'm Joyce gonna test, like, there'll be something where you're like, I need clarity, or I need to know more about this, so I will always communicate, get that information, and get it back to you guys, yeah.
Let's say like a previous, a nonprofit came back for funding and they like didn't allocate their money properly. Like, do they get punished for the way that they used it, or do we take a new application like
I think,
into like consider it? Like we look at past applications or the way they use their funding in the new application?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's all very different. I think everyone's got a very different way. Like, we don't want to punish per se, like nonprofits. However, if we've allocated funding before and they have not achieved their deliverables, it behooves me to not let you know that.
Yeah.
And so that really is just another tool in your toolbox to be like, well, they're saying they're going to do this, but they didn't do this last time. So then you make that decision. Yeah.
So we do kind
Yeah.
of take that into consideration in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, having some historical context is good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you won't disclose that to us, or you're
No,
giving?
100%. No, I disclose everything. I
Oh.
absolutely, because I understand, like, looking at the application alone, it's very, very siloed and you need, and as staff, we provide you context. Like, and you wouldn't necessarily know context unless you're in this work. So we will always provide you context and historical context.
One thing that I appreciated last time, and maybe it was the time before too, was the pathways counseling thing that we've hit right now. You were pretty open about, okay, they don't have somebody right now and it's.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and I will update you on that for my report. There you
I
go.
have a report on Mary Moss as well.
Oh, man, there you go. So,
Well, there's gonna be 4 new commissioners looking at these applications. I mean, I know that previous ones might have looked at the prior or know
yeah.
these areas, know these nonprofits, so we're gonna kind of come with fresh eyes. It's
So
gonna.
what we do is that we always try and like have an experienced commissioner with like, we don't just put like 3 new commissioners together because again, like I feel like we can just learn a lot from each other. So yeah, we kind of mix it up.
We're all looking at you.
Joyce, are we losing anyone?
Just Joyce.
Joyce,
yeah.
So Joyce will be replaced and then we have any other openings?
No, just Joyce.
Just have some.
Can we still reach out to?
I know.
Is that okay? Like, can we still reach out to her?
I'm really enjoying
advice?
facial reactions, guys.
Applications is going to be at least 8 pages, single spaced.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that includes spreadsheets that are quick reads.
Yes.
I mean, it's like advisory.
She's saying, don't call me.
But Jake, I'm here. I'm here.
Phone a
I'll
friend.
answer all questions. I have historical, like Mike and I have been working on this since the commission started. We see all the reporting. We can absolutely.
Yeah, and I like to ask these questions now, so I'm not asking them during the process.
I'm so
You should.
because I have
You
the
should
same.
be. No, but you should be asking questions and we want that.
It's not like I'm nervous or I can't do the reading.
But you want,
Read it to me, be like, okay.
no, but you want.
Here's a highlighter.
Yeah, he's a highlighter.
But you want.
have time to ask questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last time I didn't have time. They were like, hey, come on, Samya, jump.
Yeah.
So you'll have to get.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, we have 2 more meetings and then we're gonna.
No.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I know, it's
I'm
fine.
not nervous about it.
It's
I want to do a good job.
No, and I don't have any doubt. Again, it feels overwhelming, but we always make sure that we have an experienced commissioner with someone that's new. And then a staff are always available and we walk through and all the subgroup meetings that we will always be there. Hopefully
you're
with
there.
coffee, always. Hopefully with coffee and cookies. I mean, come on, why not? And yeah. And then we will meet like, and we can meet outside and often most of the time we do outside office hours. So if evenings are more convenient or the weekends are more convenient, like, you know, again, we understand this is an additional lift and we will just do anything that we can as staff to make that easier. Answering questions, providing context, just, yeah.
Your next meeting is gonna be Joyce's last meeting?
Yes.
And then the new commissioner would come in
In the
first
January, yes.
When would those interviews be by council? for commissioner?
Great question.
So I believe Joyce's last meeting is actually in January.
January, yes.
Commissioners are seated in February 6th.
Yeah.
So February would be the new commissioners
Yes.
first meeting,
Yeah.
and March, we're looking at applications.
Probably not
Right.
really.
Yes, it'll be March. Well, March applications open. They'll close in April, and then we'll get them as soon as.
Do we present to council or?
So what will happen is
Sure.
that so you have access to all the applications, but within that we'll have subgroups, and so you might do like basic needs subgroup where all the basic need applications are going to go to you and your members of your subgroup. You're going to look at it, and then we normally have a checklist, a score sheet that like folks can use to help guide them. And then you guys will meet together as a subgroup, maybe a couple of times, and then present to the commission as a whole. And then we
The
keep on,
commission here.
yes, yeah. And then we keep on like keeping all the stats. And then once all the stats are in, invariably it's always over. So what we always try and go for is what our current number is. And this year it's 680,000. And we try and hit that. So invariably it's a way higher number. And then the commission work, and it's great to see you guys working together to get to that ding, ding, ding number. And then in October, the commission will go to council and present because it's your recommendation.
Yeah.
And so with that, like Mike and I will help you guys put together like a agenda bill, and then talk about talking points and help with the presentation. So it's not like you're thrown into the deep end. Like Mike and I are here. Mike is like the expert on how to present to council.
Was it like theme based, like pirate or cowboy when we present?
Yes. Why not? Why not? You know?
Yes.
Actually, it's great. We can Halloween. We can come in costume. I love
Theme
that.
based for the.
I know.
Helps them approve the higher.
No, that's quite.
They just keep probably catch them off
Just
guard.
use come as we can come in as a theme. Oh my god, we could be themed.
We could use the video that they used to make me cry.
Yeah, okay. All right then. You know,
I
yeah.
got a little bit more.
Sarah McLaughlin song playing.
And see, we went.
But that means we'll need a vice chair.
Yes, that's
in
what.
March.
Yeah. So the chair and vice chair, like we've done many different ways. Like over the past, we've done the chair and the vice chair presenting. Other years we've had the whole commission present. Like, so it really depends. And it's just you guys as a group decide, and whatever you guys decide, like Mike and I will help you figure it out. And like, you know, and so we have a couple of meetings to sort of like flesh that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a feeling this year, for what our budget will be? Are we gonna go?
The $54 million questions, and it's not.
That's enough.
Million, that'll be.
No, dear.
I think the picture hasn't really gotten any better, has
But you
it?
can ask for more,
We could,
which is what we have done,
yeah, just get us
and
in.
it's always been approved.
Well, not
Oh, wait,
last year.
from last go round, where they, yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Was it a different
Things.
council this last year?
No, I just think they have to look at lots of different, you know, budget considerations. So, you know, in the past, they've always approved like, so what the commission's traditionally always done is hit the number that they've done before. And then invariably they'll always say, there's an additional ask. And in the past, they've always agreed to the additional ask. But this go around, they were like, you know what, sorry, but we'll keep it at the same level as we have before. So there's no way of knowing. And I don't know because we've got a new, you know, 3 new council members coming in. So don't have a sense of, you know, where we're going to be on that.
When you didn't get the additional assets, you have to go back and adjust yours?
No, so what we did is that we basically had the base recommendation, as in this is what, and then an additional. So yeah,
This is what we're gonna.
this is what we're going to do. Yes. And I think it was like everything went up like 5%. And so, yeah. And so like, you know, you're giving like the council, you know, a breakdown of you know, what you would like to recommend. And so, yeah, I mean, like, I know it sounds overwhelming, but you know, when you're in it and then when you're through it, and again, Mike and I are there to guide you, and we're not gonna want to see you fail, and we want to set you up for success. Yeah. You're on your own. Yeah. So, we always want to like, you know, scaffold and.
Call Joyce 24/7 if we need.
The last time she said no.
So Rita, when are the new council members joining?
January.
We knew.
3 new ones.
Did they get sworn, did they get sworn in at the
Sworn
first
in,
council meeting?
yeah.
At the first council meeting in January?
And then they go and choose the commission people that.
Yes, they do.
When do they, would they elect a new mayor then?
Yes, yeah.
On the first council meeting?
Yeah.
Sign up now,
Okay.
get your good seats, right?
Are we open for applications now for our new commission member?
Yes, we are. And we promoted it. And by the way, you fabulous people were in that.
Yeah,
program.
I got, my work were sending me that.
You guys are doing that.
Like, oh my God, I didn't sign for this.
Took in the cafeteria, it was like, you're famous. I'm like, yeah.
Everyone's asking me, I'm like looking like a
Really?
giant that they can't show. And then it's like you
Okay, well, there you go. It's yeah.
small and like petite people. I'm looking like a giant standing there. And my husband is like, what did you do to scare them all out?
Something
I'm
with
like,
the camera
I'm
angle.
just like,
That's what-
It was a lovely picture.
Let's put my stand really behind, okay?
We'll do a redo then.
It looked great.
Chair, would you like me to do staff reports?
Yes, let's move on to staff reports.
Right, okay. But before we, are there any other questions? Like,
Sorry,
okay,
you're
yeah.
still setting up the training, you said.
So for before the application, so that will be in March, and I believe we have a date. And I think it's on a Saturday. It's a 3-hour training, and as staff, we felt like that was a big March the 14th.
For what kind of training?
The equity training amongst us and all our other peer commissions. And it's going
What?
14th, Saturday. I believe it's going to be in Redmond at the community centre by Merrymore, I believe. And it's going to be from like an 8:30 to, or a 9 to 11 or 12, no, 9 to 12 kind of thing. So we were trying to figure out if we could do it in an evening, and it was just wasn't gonna like work because it would be too long.
Will it be recorded?
I'm sure it will be, yeah. Yeah.
In case we miss.
Yeah. But that's tentative for now.
So are you getting applications for the new?
No, so
Did you scare them all away?
yeah. And so the applications actually officially open in March. There's a date in March, and I can bring that up. And then there's a month for folks to submit their applications.
Oh, are you talking?
I'm talking about for the commission, our commission.
I beg your pardon. They are currently open now. So yes, so,
Getting applications for?
I have not checked.
had one yet.
I have 2 people I want to recommend.
Well, then
Yeah.
go.
I don't know. if they'll take-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why not?
That's Pi Day, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a geeky holiday. for-
He's asking you to show up with pie.
Actually, I think we should.
In the US. In
Yeah.
Europe, they start, they do the day first and then the month.
Oh, right.
Next commission meeting, we should have pie.
Sounds like you volunteered to do that.
What kind of pie?
Recommendations.
What kind of pie would we do? Pumpkin?
It's Christmas.
Then it's past. We should have it's like 3 mince pie. Let's do a British mince pie.
Savory pies?
The mince pie is actually sweet, but it's dried fruit, and you've had to have grown up with it. It's not that good.
That was already savory and I just avoided.
Say something of this. Your report. Okay,
Sorry.
All right, no worries. Okay, so I just wanted to sort of give you so I've been meeting with community groups the last couple of months to really better understand how federal policies are impacting them, if at all. And so I'm just going to give you like a very high level thing. I'm not going to reference the nonprofits I've chatted to because there's a lot of fear. And I think this will kind of, pan out, as I say. So there's a lot of uncertainty and nervousness in the community. And folks are saying things like they don't know how their neighbors, so this is amongst immigrant nonprofits. So folks are saying they don't know how neighbors feel about us. We stay quiet. We don't want to make noise. Our kids are told don't fight with anyone, and kids are told not to fight back. And so a lot of these groups have met with the chiefs of police, like, in neighboring cities. And they've all said the same thing. The chief of police and their departments have been lovely, but they were also very honest, saying that there's nothing they can do and interfere with any ICE investigations. They're just not allowed to do that. They're not allowed to get involved in federal investigations. So that's really, I think, impacted a lot of the psyche for a lot of folks, because people feel like if they're in trouble, they call police. And even though that has been said to the community, people are still very scared of calling the police now. One of-
Sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but in Redmond, they just stopped doing the flock cameras.
Yes, they
because
did.
They found out those were accessible to federal investigators. I
Yeah.
don't know how that applies to Sammamish, but it might be another concern.
Yeah, I think Sammamish, so we are part of the King County Sheriff's Department, and they very much are very aligned with like Bellevue and Redmond and Issaquah. Like they were all saying like, you know what? Like, yes, and they always say we will not ask immigration status. But that still doesn't stop people being very fearful. So one nonprofit has done over 390 power of attorneys. So kids are going to school with these power of attorneys in their backpacks in case when they come home, their parents aren't there. So this is like a very local one as well. Other nonprofits saying they're having regular weekly immigration clinics. Lots of Sammamish residents have been impacted by the changes to the H-1B visa program and green cards. And what we're seeing is that a lot of DV survivors are dependent on their spouse's work visa. And this is leading to more and more women staying in unsafe marriages and not reporting DV and abuse, and also causing nonprofits to offer increased mental health support and case management in that instance. People are not attending proper medical services. The federal One Big Beautiful Bill Act, that changes the eligibility for those on Medicaid, Medicare, and the Affordable Care Act. And many who previously received care are not able to receive it. Food banks are reporting an increase in emergency boxes. So often food banks will give out food every other week. And on the other weeks, they're giving out emergency food boxes. That's gone through the roof. The delay in SNAP benefits has created, according to the Seattle Foundation, a $37 million weekly shortfall in our state's food security network. So local food banks are really stretched thin. And also stress levels are really high, and food banks are reporting for the first time ever, there are arguments in wait lines. Right. And they didn't even have this during, they're saying that this is a very different atmosphere even compared to COVID. Like it's a lot more. And like the thing is they're trying to have it so that people are expedited in and out. So they're not, but people are very nervous. Lots of nonprofits are not promoting what they're doing. And they've kind of almost gone underground to like offer, and a lot of them are having discussions and have removed their staff's name from websites for fear of like retribution. So yeah, and then also I think the implications is there's obviously a lot of generational impact, and what I'm hearing is just a lot of community confusion and worry about the future. And there's definitely been a marked, and again, I know this only anecdotally, a marked increase in the number of racist incidents in school, work, and in the community. And this has increased exponentially, but they are not reporting. And this is what we need to understand. They are not reporting. Like nobody wants to go to the police. And then, yeah. So now I'm going to change gears. Do you have any questions? Because I'm going to move on to another topic now. But I know that was a lot and it was very heavy. And I didn't sort of, and I've spoken to many, many nonprofits, and I just felt like I couldn't say this, and I'm like, and I think they're all very worried and concerned as well. So, and I don't want to get political, but I just needed you guys to know just the impact of federal policies, whether it's right or wrong on the community. Yeah. Okay. So changing gear completely. New councillor at Cross Path, Mary Moss. Met with her. She used to be with KCLS, and I think she's going to kick butt and be fantastic. I think she's very about trying to connect with the community, which I'm excited about. So definitely the word will get out there. I also met with the Salvation Army
What was her name again?
Mary Moss, Moss.
She was with KCLS.
She was with KCLS and then went to school and then is now a therapist and very like just chatting with her, like with KCLS, she's very attuned and good about connecting with the community. And I feel like this is a great position, like, and I feel like she really wants to do that. So I sent her lots of information and you know, so hopefully she'll connect with folks and let them know about the services. Met with the Salvation Army street level team. I didn't know there was such a thing. They work with folks that are living in their vehicles and it's quite impressive, their case management. So I was able to kind of connect them to Eastside Fire and Rescue, the police, Nourishing Network. So I was able to connect them to lots of sort of community groups.
Sorry, who is that?
And this is the Salvation Army street level team. They've never asked us for funding, but they apparently, I feel like they're new to the East Side, but I know they've been doing this in Seattle for a long time. Yeah. And then I attended an application workshop, an application information session in Kirkland late last month. And this is encouraging nonprofits that have not applied for funding to come and hear from staff as to what does it mean? The applications are going to open in March. What does it mean to apply for funding? And really walking them through, because the worst thing in the world is when you kind of just say, here you go, and you've never applied for funding and it's a lot. So really walking through, like, this is the kind of documentation you need and this is how we look at it. And so, yeah, so I think we had like 30 nonprofits come. So that was a good success. And that was in Kirkland. They also did one in SeaTac as well, but I attended the Kirkland one. So that was super.
And in Kirkland, that was 13 nonprofits that had not applied.
30.
Or
Yeah.
30, and they had not applied to us or
to the share one up. This was their first time. So
were they pretty new?
it was a bit of a mixed bag. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think our job as staff is to really promote it. And then I think like what always happens is Jake, Joy's gonna test, like, the number's going to be up here, the ask is always going to be like 5 times more than we can give. So yeah. So I'm open to any questions anyone has.
When do we find out the number that we get to allocate to the nonprofits?
So what we'll do is that we will go with the number that was given, like for this cycle, which is 683,000.
That's already been
So
established.
so that's what we're aiming for. As Joy said, if the commissions will, if you want to ask for additional funding, you are absolutely able to ask that. So you would go to council, be like, okay, so we hit this number and this is who we want to fund. But guess what, council? And again, this is up to you guys. We think that there's an additional need. And, if you give us this much more, it means.
What did you ask for last time? Was it like
No,
100,000 or?
no,
Like 35.
38,000.
So something pretty
I
reasonable.
know in previous years we'd asked for way more and received it. Like, remember
The year we started the cross path, of course, it was
Yeah.
a special one.
Yeah, but we started off with 120,000. That was like going to, so like now we're up to 683.
We started at 120, now we're at 600.
So like, it's crept up, like, I mean, I remember the only other city that gave less than us at that time when I started was Des Moines. That was our little running joke. I've never been to Des Moines. I need to go. It might be nice. I don't know. But so we don't look. We're not at the levels of Bellevue, and Bellevue obviously has sales tax and is a different beast to us. But I will say, like, we've plodded along, and
I still think it's a great amount.
Yeah.
You know how much Bellevue are looking?
Oh, millions.
Millions?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting look we've had with what the neighboring cities have budgeted for this. And the per capita, if you want to talk about having a 68,000 population here, is significantly less than Redmond, Kirkland, very much less than Bellevue, and pretty much like what Issaquah gives.
I
But
think
it's
we give more,
40,000.
Joyce. I think we give more. But per capita, because they have a smaller population, yes, but yeah.
Who has a smaller population?
Issaquah. By a lot, yeah.
That's Sammamish.
It's a very small population, but it was $10 back in 2016, when we started as a task force. So it was all handled by Melanie, who was at that point, city clerk, with 3 of the members of the city council doing all this. And it was turned over to a new group of task force people. And it was pretty amazing to look at the numbers. And Issaquah at that time was giving them take a look at their population of whatever it was at that time, let's say $30,000. It was 30,000 people, it was based on $10 per person in their city. It would be their budget for human services. And ours at that time was $3 per person. It was sad.
And now
We
it is
moved
what,
up.
100 per person?
Oh, no, it's maybe.
We got 68,000 now, we got $680,000 giving,
Actually,
we're about $10 per person.
$10, yeah.
They got up to.
You could have round down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we, you know, I think it's all timing and like, I think, you know, as council, like, you know, you guys make the recommendations. There's a lot of, as council, they've got a lot of other things, you know, lots of other fires going on and, you know, and they've got to look at the whole budget thing. And so.
We have a revenue issue. I mean, we don't have enough businesses that come. We don't have enough this, we don't have enough that.
Didn't they ask us to come down 5%? I mean, because I have a 4.9
Yeah.
column.
So what
Was
it
that after our presentation?
So what we did is we gave the presentation and we gave like the base recommendation, which was what we ultimately went with. And then the additional one was if we could, we would do the additional one. Yeah. So yeah, we didn't have the additional, we just had the base that was approved.
Okay, well,
I do have like one quick thing I wanted to add, if it's the time for that.
for commission reports?
Yeah.
Yes.
and,
Yeah, go for it.
I've been monitoring different state and like local human service emails, distribution lists, and they send useful information like like the DSHS SNAP benefit information along with other resources.
Issaquah's real good at that.
And it would be nice for us to have a way to broadcast that information to residents. And a couple months ago, I remember asking if we could look into, can we restore that list that Sammamish used to have but doesn't have operational anymore?
Right.
Because if it did, like I would be interested in providing like a list of links and information that I've collected over the last month and then share that out to anybody who wanted to subscribe to it.
Like a Sammamish resident email thread?
It would be like a Human Services Commission newsletter for the month or something like that.
What did you just say,
We
Joyce?
could also provide information we're getting from these nonprofits each time, because like if they have a link to more information or stuff
This
like
is where the
that.
Nourishing Network comes in. We have the Sammamish Issaquah Sammamish Nourishing Network and comes out with a Friday update from the various organizations and charities and businesses that have something to say for human services purposes.
Oh, I need to get on that because I'm on the Kirkland Nourishing Network, but I thought the Sammamish one had fallen apart.
It's part of Issaquah.
Okay, that's maybe where
I don't know how,
fell short.
yeah, it still exists.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we looked into that. Like, did we speak to Angie about that, Mike? About
Yeah, we spoke with our communications manager, and I think the listserv that you're referring to is probably our Gov delivery system.
Yeah,
And
that's the one I tried signing up for, but
yeah, what she told us was basically we're not adding any more new Gov delivery listservs, but I think she had some alternative ideas, like we could get some posts out on social media. We could do something in our, we do a printed newsletter about every 2 months.
yeah, that
there
would
are other
be
ways.
a high frequency, but just.
Yeah.
I know people who are especially when they saw our pictures, they were like, what does your commission even do? You know, being able to point them to that would be a great resource.
And that's a really good point, because I think, like, you know, I'll check with Angie, because like I think, you know, if there's availability, then like as a commission we put something out in newsletter. And the great thing about that, even more than a listserv is that newsletter goes into every single mailbox in Sammamish. So I don't know, I'm thinking like something that someone could just tear and it has resources on there, or to like, I don't know, whatever, like, you know.
I don't either. It's just some way, because we have really access to really good information here.
Yeah.
Please, you know what, so yeah, we'll look into that and then I'll report out in the next meeting.
Have you gone on the website and seen what you can get from the Spanish website on who we recommend for this, that, and the other thing, whether it's for domestic violence and all, it's all there with the links.
Yeah, I've seen some
But you gotta
things.
know to look.
I don't know that it's really current, and I don't know if we have any way to get stuff onto that website if we had new stuff to add.
So it is current, because those are a lot of the organizations that we fund. The thing with having some sort of database is that it's very hard to keep on top of it and keep it relevant and keep it like, you know. So I think we have a lot of the tried and tested kind of organizations there, and the ones that we fund as well in particular.
Just remember, 211 is a very important number.
Yeah.
211.
Yeah, that is a
Yeah.
good way to go.
Are you
All of
talking
them.
more about like events? Cause I guess.
Well, like, for example, this last month, the DSHS provided, like, a couple days ago, provided update on the SNAP benefit information that's gonna be impacting people who need that to stay alive, right? Because they're dependent on that food.
But I will say to your
It'd
point.
be nice to be able to share that with people in Sammamish who,
Right, but then I've also spoken to nonprofits who are absolutely on the front lines, and they like that. Even the people in DSHS don't even know what's going on. Stuff is so rapidly changing.
Yeah.
all the time that people can't keep on top of it. And I think that's a tricky thing.
you know, we don't wanna get ourselves into a world where we have to like maintain information
Yeah.
that's just gonna be becoming obsolete. But I would like people in the city to know who these, like, to know about East Side Friends of Seniors. That they could volunteer, like if they got in that newsletter that gets mailed out to everybody, if it said East Side Friends of Seniors is accepting new volunteers. Boom, they would get,
And there's information like she was just telling you that's on the city website now about what they're looking for in East Side Friends of Seniors. People don't know where to look.
we don't hit refresh on the webpage,
No.
like, but if we get something delivered to us.
We've done stuff like that before where we've profiled community nonprofits. Like we've done a lot of work with CrossPath, just trying to get more awareness around
Might
it.
be something, hey, CrossPath's got a new person now.
We have information.
Oh, we did.
Yeah. Suggested that she could come and do a public comment tonight, but her schedule wouldn't allow it.
Who's that, sorry?
Molly, Mary and Zach will come next week, next
Okay.
month.
Oh,
Yeah, they're gonna talk to you about
councils?
coming in to do a public
Councils?
comment.
Comment or where, sorry? Or the commission or the council?
No, just to come in to hear
Okay.
and do
okay.
just a public comment about introducing Mary and
Yeah.
what it's all about, and 3 minutes plus 3 minutes is out, and then
Yeah.
we go.
The frustrating part about it is then we can't engage with them, right?
Yeah.
They just come and they say their thing and they leave. It's nice when they can come and make a presentation and we can.
Well, we did see Zach and Jamie.
Did it, I think in
And
July.
Jamie's the one that left, and now
Yeah.
Mary is in the position.
Is there a reason why we can't?
It's just, that is etiquette, like that is like, you're an open meeting, you have an agenda. On the agenda, like even though someone might come and give a public comment, and it might be really compelling, you're like, I want to ask this, it's just not on the agenda, there's time, you've got other people on the agenda. I know it seems really odd, I get it, like it's, until I came here, I was just like, that's so weird, like you're meant to be really po-faced and just listen.
I know, I kind of wish it was on the sign-in sheet, like that we can't address them, because it's like I'm smiling and nodding.
Yeah.
And I remember when I showed up to the council meeting for this application
Yeah.
for human services. And I remember there's a woman that showed up about like the fiber company or something was complaining, and she looked, it's not our mayor. Are we city manager?
Yes.
Yeah. And she looked at him, she goes, I don't even know if you're paying attention because you won't respond to me. And, you know, he could say nothing. He just smiled. And I thought, well, why isn't he at least addressing? So, you know, but Yeah, it'd be nice that they at least know in advance that, we're smiling because we're listening and we're taking in what they're saying, but not.
Sometimes the mayor will say that in response, like, I'm sorry, but we can't respond to you, but
Okay.
typically what parliamentary procedure says, or the training that we received says that either the chair, in this case, Mary, or our mayor will say, we'll have staff follow up on that. As just a way to kind of like at least say that we've heard you, and a staff member will follow up with you following the meeting. It just, yeah, like Rita said.
Another time when they did converse, and we did get the extra money because we conversed at that time.
Yeah,
I was presenting.
yeah, like Rita said.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Sorry, go. Yeah.
Like Rita said, I think, if you respond to one, you have to respond to all, and it really throws off the meeting process. Like,
Yeah, but that was just because we were presenting our recommendations.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
they-
That's not public.
Yeah,
comment.
they're not the same thing as a public
That's a
comment.
difference.
It's
Yeah.
part of the agenda.
There's part of the agenda, and then I will also, if I know someone's going for public comment, I always kind of like preface it, or if I see them, I'll always go out and say, listen, you know what? This is what you're going to say. You have 3 minutes and no one can respond and no one can ask questions. It's not because you're not, compelling and people aren't, the commission isn't interested. It's just that they're not able to. And so I always try and give them that context as well.
How do you get put on the agenda so that you can have that conversation?
Well then, a staff will put together the agenda, but again, if it's public comment, then what, they're coming to speak for 3 minutes, or even if it's longer, like, there's a lot of people that will want to do public comment, but would they necessarily make sense for them to be on the agenda?
Like if I wanted to build a case for like
Okay.
IACS to have a bigger space, or how we're gonna use the new building over there, could that be, I'm not going to do it, but like something in that regard,
Yeah.
can that be put on the
You can
agenda?
write- You can write to them, send them an email before 5 o'clock on their council day, and you can bet that they have read it.
Oh, do you think, did they read it?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I
okay.
don't know whether my conversations have shown that they have.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying, for instance,
First Saturday meetings at Metro Market. So it's only, there's supposedly 3 people there, and they're from 9:30 to 10:30, but they're usually there still till 11, and they're having community contact with the people who care. And the last time I went, they were more caring about affordable housing than anything else,
All right.
which is something that, that's a topic that we care about, because affordable housing is 2 ways. It's housing that's affordable for middle income people, and the affordable housing, which is part of that, paying 60% of something for housing, the kind of stuff that's required in town center to do this and do that. If you follow any of that, it's kind of confusing.
Is there a date when the feasibility report will come back about the building 120 to the council?
It's gonna be a year out, is my
Is something in December? and-
There'll be more recent check-ins. Yeah, it's a multi-phase process, and there's gonna be different decision points that council will be making along the way. So the information is probably on our website, but if not, I would expect to see it on an upcoming agenda.
Future application.
Well, because that is a subject that affects us, and that it impacts the nonprofits.
Yeah.
Whether or not they have the space.
Yeah, and I think, as the feasibility study moves down the line, there will be interaction with community groups, potentially, if it reaches that point, engagement with the different types of uses that could be put into that, because there's a lot of different people that are interested, and we want to make sure that if the building is feasible to use in the way that council wants to use it, that we're taking into account all the potential uses, not just the loudest voices that are coming to them. And so, maybe they'll want the Human Services Commission's feedback at that point to try and help with some of that engagement, to make sure it is deep and reaching the segments of our population that we don't hear from very often. But at this point, they haven't really assigned it to the commission as something that they wanted us to study. So I think we're just kind of waiting to hear more. It's just, like I said, very early preliminary phase of doing like the geotechnical reports and the basic site analysis and the building analysis to see, is it even safe if an earthquake happens, and you're having hundreds of people using the facility. Like, we just don't know. There's a lot that building needs right now. And so that's kind of where we're starting.
It was built by the church, is that right? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Which church?
Mars Hill.
Oh, okay.
And on very saturated land.
It's basically a wetland out there. Yeah.
That
Paved over.
wanted to build all around. Wanted to put more.
I'll
buildings
tell you,
on
our
it.
Christmas tree lot in that front section was, we had to put about this much bark chips in it. to try
I
to
did
build
not realize it was
exotic.
that
We moved
bad.
into Microsoft's parking lot,
This is building.
which we will be for our third time this year.
15 years, 20 years old.
Well, I
How long
think
is
there's
Mars?
still wetland regulations back
How long
there.
is Mars?
6-7 years.
Yeah,
I
then
think
we'll
we
be-
bought it in 2016, I want to say.
Okay, so they had it from about 2008 or so.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
That's what I remember it being put in about the time.
top of head, I don't remember.
The city bought a building on a wetland.
They allowed a building on a wetland. Remember, it was owned by another organization, a church.
Any other commissioner reports?
I was just gonna say that I did have an email last week, Zach Carlson, who's the director of the Cross Path, wanted Mary Moss, a new counselor, to connect with me on getting information out to the community, you know, such as what I had done when Jamie and Zach had been with us, sending the information through our Sammamish Seniors newsletter, is just to advise people that there is such an entity and what it does and why. And she's put together a couple of pages that she wanted to have me share. And we're gonna be talking about it again tomorrow. The counseling style is relational, evidence informed, and trauma responsive. She integrates cognitive, behavioral, rational, and somatic techniques to help clients build resilience and self-awareness.
So she's got-
Amish residents.
Sounds very good.
She's got her new pamphlets at the front there, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So she's kind of stepping into Jamie's shoes.
Licensed mental health counselor who supports children, teens, families navigating change, stress, and growth. You can just have a connection to her. This is not for just this time.
On the way out, there'll be a photograph. I just wanted to say this.
I got it, yeah.
Okay, any other commission reports? So our next meeting agenda topics. Do we have any?
Third quarter reporting, year in review.
Oh, and that is on December 10th, the next meeting. Is that right? And I will be out of town. Joyce?
I'll be here. Okay.
Take it away.
It's an easy one because it's all.
Yes. So I'll see you in January. Yes.
2026.
All right, anything else? Otherwise, then we'll be adjourned.
Thank you.